Like a ding dong noise?
That was me screaming. This wire jumped down and scared me.
Oh, I got you.
Okay, so what are you looking at here?
So, main electrical panel, and the first thing I notice is why didn't they put this in the basement? But that's not a defect, that's just the way they build houses now. For whatever reason, builders like garages. If it was me, I would put it in the basement. And again, when we're looking at the panel, at this point, there's not going to be everything there that we need to see. They've probably got a couple of circuit breakers in place, maybe one for a couple utility outlets, maybe one for a sump pump that's running downstairs. In this case, they've got 3 breakers installed, but none of them are actually turned on. So there's a limited amount we can do with the electrical panel. But we can check the mains coming in. We can check what looks like it's eventually supposed to be a sub panel here. All the neutrals are on one bus, all the grounds are on one bus. We can check for things like antioxidant paste in the panel. We can look kind of at the neatness of it to get a feel for how good of a job the electricians did. This one's not bad. Kind of very basic electrical stuff at this point in time because it's not powered up, so we can't check a lot of the actual wiring and make sure it was all wired correctly. Interior electrical, again, it's kind of like plumbing. We're basically looking at the routing of the wiring and the neatness of the wiring, and actually you're going to find that's kind of a common theme when we look at new construction is that neatness actually does count because it's an indication of how seriously the builder is taking the quality of their build. So here you're obviously going to have 2 main switch panels because we're like at the intersection of the kitchen and the great room, and they've done actually a pretty decent job of the rough in here. It's not all hanging willy-nilly. They've actually got everything zip tied together nice and neat within the wall. They've left plenty of extra wire actually in the junction box for hooking up fixtures. And what they've done so far here makes sense. And then, you know, again, kind of carrying that further, we're standing in what's eventually going to be the kitchen and looking at the routing of the wiring. And again, they've run it far enough through most of these studs to get their required 1 inch from the exterior of the stud, so they don't have to put little metal cover plates on there, except maybe for this one, which is coming awful close. So something like this we would flag. You're going to have a stove here. That rough end looks pretty decent and it's stapled down. So again, looking at how the wiring is routed, the way they've secured it, the way they've drilled their holes, all of it makes sense. All of it's done pretty neatly and pretty well, so there isn't a lot to criticize.